Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Hello, I'm Angel Hines. I'm the Public Policy Manager for the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. I serve as key liaison on behalf of the Reeve Foundation to about 6 to 8 coalitions focused on disability, public policy, and our advocacy initiatives. Thank you so much for taking the time for meeting with us today. Since 2002, the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation has operated the National Paralysis Resource Center, which promotes the health and well-being of people living with spinal cord injury, mobility impairment, and paralysis. This is the start of Reeve's Road to Financial Awareness Month by providing our spinal cord injury and paralysis community multiple events that offer financial literacy and financial resources that are often overlooked but always needed. We intend to continue to partner with various financial institutions to increase conversations around intersectionality for the BIPOC and underserved communities within the paralysis and spinal cord injury population. Today's webinar will feature our community partners, Wells Fargo and Able Today, to discuss their programming and how they can help and build our community's financial literacy resources. So we're really excited about today's webinar. First up, we will hear from Bonnie Wallace. Bonnie leads the financial health philanthropy for the Wells Fargo Foundation, one of the largest corporate foundations in the US. As a member of Wells Fargo's social impact and sustainability leadership team, she drives strategies across the business focused on fostering an inclusive economic future for all by supporting financial health, housing affordability, small business growth, and sustainability and environmental justice. And then we will also hear from Mark Raymond Jr. He's the National Outreach Lead for Able Today at the National Association of State Treasurers. Mark is also the CEO and founder of the Split Second Foundation. It's an organization that's committed to breaking barriers for people with disabilities. Mark's life changed in a split second when a tragic accident left him a C5 quadriplegic. That tick of the clock will forever influence who he is, pushing him to advocate for millions of others by making that split second a life filled with awareness, hope, and action. First, I will start with you, Bonnie. Would you mind sharing with our community what exactly is financial health philanthropy? Tell us a bit about what you do and why you do it.
Thank you, Angel. It really is a pleasure to have this opportunity to talk a little bit about the Wells Fargo Foundation and the work that we do in financial health philanthropy. So the Wells Fargo Foundation really seeks to strengthen historically marginalized communities by investing in pathways to economic advancement and generational wealth. Within that, we focus on 5 key areas. So we focus on small business growth, housing access and affordability, community engagement, where we do things like disaster response, and then also financial health. And I think of financial health as kind of the line that runs through everything else, right? So if we're a bank, but all of us who are on this call understand that money kind of makes the world go round, and it can make it stop as well. So that financial health piece is this line that runs through every single thing that we do. And in the financial health philanthropy area, what we do is we invest in transformative solutions. So I want to really emphasize that. This is not just financial education. We are investing in solutions that address systemic inequities, that build financial security and advance wealth and legacy creation. And when I say that we advance wealth, I also want to be clear that this isn't about trying to make people rich. This is really about advancing wealth, meaning giving you that security, not only for today and next week and next month, but for your future. I also want to share that, you hear a lot of terms like financial health, you'll hear financial education, financial capability, financial wellness. These are all terms that are used interchangeably, and it's fine to use them that way. But I want to emphasize that we understand that education or knowledge is important, but it's not enough. So the work we do within the Wells Fargo Foundation goes well beyond simply providing knowledge or educating people so they know more. We're actually trying to also provide financial access and enable financial inclusion, which is really kind of, I think, core to the conversation that we're having here today. Some of the work that we do, and I'll start just with some of the audiences that we work with, We focus on diverse groups such as military, LGBTQ, Native and rural communities, and then racial and ethnic groups as well, all who are struggling because of decades, longer centuries of discrimination and marginalization. So as an example, when we work with the military, they have challenges as they transition out of the military. And so we work with veterans, trying to help their unique needs. And with each of these groups, we understand that one size does not fit all. So while we all have common needs around savings, establishing and improving our credit or managing our credit, reducing debt, building assets, again, we know it's not one size fits all. So how do we provide the resources to the people that are closest to those communities, who know those communities well and understand what is available to them? How do we provide those resources to those people so we can have the greatest impact together? Which really brings me to the role that we're playing today with Able Today, and with Mark, who's on the line, as well as Eric, and with the National Association of State Treasurers. So Wells Fargo recognized that Able and Able accounts are really key to enabling savings, and not only savings, but wealth. Again, when we think about wealth creation, we're looking at financial security today, financial security next week, next month, and for your future. This is a tool that really enables security for your family and wealth creation. We recognize that there's no identity that is definable with a single word, but what we really try to do with our foundation programs is try to equitably reach as many people as possible. And we feel like this partnership with the National Association of State Treasurers and the Able Today program allows us to do that. So before I turn it over to Mark, I just really want to encourage everyone on this call. The first thing I'll do is congratulate you, because coming to this conversation, seeking to learn more about Able, seeking to learn more about how you can not only educate yourself, but take action to build savings and build wealth is an amazing step. So you're in the right place. And I want to encourage you to leverage those saving opportunities given to you, most of which will be through these Able programs that Mark will talk about. This really is important because it offers an avenue to savings that at the very least removes the disincentive for you to save funds. And at the very most is going to empower you in ways that if you don't have an Able account yet, or if you're underutilizing it, that you'll be amazed by. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mark, and he can get into the details of Able. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you, Bonnie. And thank you, Angel, for the warm introduction. And I'm really excited to give this presentation on Able. Okay, so as Angel mentioned, my name is Mark Raymond Jr., and I am on the Able Today team as one of the national outreach leads. I am also the CEO of Split Second Foundation, an organization based in Louisiana that focuses on breaking barriers for people with disabilities. It was very serendipitous the way that I got started doing this work. A member of our team, Eric Achmanik, who's actually the program director, gave me a call in June of last year. And the first question he asked me is, had I ever heard of Able? And my answer was no. And then he explained to me what Able accounts were and the impact that it could have on people with disabilities. And immediately the light bulb started clicking around the financial literacy components that I was missing in the onset of my situation. In July of 2016, I suffered a spinal cord injury from a diving accident in Lake Pontchartrain here in New Orleans, Louisiana. From a different place in my heart, it really humbles me to be able to give a presentation to my community around financial literacy and a tool that I think will greatly benefit all of us in the near future. So the National Association of State Treasurers operates the initiative of Able Today, which is here to promote and raise awareness around financial empowerment and community inclusion for Able accounts. There currently are 3 members of our team. Eric Achmanik, who is sitting in the crowd, he's the program director. Eric has been doing this work since 2016 when he started the first Able program in Ohio. And Eric took the approach then of literally meeting people where they were, driving to every county in Ohio to explain one-on-one with people what Able was and how they could get signed up. The other member of our team is Sarah Hart-Ware, who is currently sitting on this panel. She served as the president and CEO of the National Down Syndrome Society, and now she's doing this amazing work with us. She was also instrumental in helping get the legislation passed for ABLE, for the 2014 Achieving a Better Life Experience Act. So Sarah's going to be facilitating answering any questions that you all might pose in the chat as we proceed with our presentation. The National Association of State Treasurers hosts the only national working alliance for all achieving a better life experience programs called the ABLE Savings Plans Network, ASPN. ASPN is a working alliance of state ABLE program administrators and industry stakeholders substantively coordinating on industry issues, advocacy, and outreach. Additionally, the NAS Foundation launched ABLE Today, which supports national outreach for ABLE programs, directly engages the disability community, and provides resources on ABLE accounts. Together, ASPN and ABLE Today work to empower individuals with disabilities towards more independent and secure futures by offering tools and resources on the benefits of ABLE accounts. ABLE accounts can be used for disability-related expenses without losing access to federal means-tested benefits. I also want to take a moment just to thank Bonnie for your time, and thank you for the partnership with the National Association of State Treasurers in helping us do this work. It means so much to be able to reach out to so many more people in this community and educate people around the financial tools that they have available. So who is this presentation for? Really anybody in the disability community, be it a person with a disability who's trying to really plan their financial future, a family member or caregiver who understands how strenuous the disability situation can be at times and are concerned for a loved one, a friend, or somebody in the community that they've got affectionate with, or a disability benefits provider, a representative payee, or financial advisor or trust lawyer. The more people who understand how ABLE accounts work and can advocate for them, the better. First, I really want to frame the problem, which has been for so long, people with disabilities that are on fixed benefits have not had the ability to save money. And I want to center this presentation around these two examples. Amanda, who's 13 years old, whose mom is concerned who will support and care for Amanda once they are gone, and they want to start to plan for Amanda's financial future. While the other example, Dalton, a 34-year-old with a developmental disability, working and wants to save to purchase a home one day. But because of SSI limits, Dalton can't save up money for a down payment. Dalton just wants to save for his future and keep his benefits. So imagine if people with disabilities could save money in their own names and more than just the $2,000 that they're limited to in their checking accounts from the Medicaid, Social Security, or HUD, or other benefit limitations without having to spend down that money and accumulate wealth without losing their eligibility for the benefits, right? Changing from a monthly financial plan to a lifetime. That is where ABLE accounts came in. And to explain what an ABLE account is, ABLE accounts are savings and investment tools built specifically for people with disabilities that allows individuals to save money without impacting public benefits. And ABLE accounts are offered under Section 529A of the U.S. Tax Code, also known as 529 ABLE. Again, this was created in the Achieving a Better Life Experience Act of 2014 and passed, and the first ABLE accounts, the first ABLE programs began to pop up in 2016. Currently, 46 states and the District of Columbia have some type of ABLE program in place. Right now, there are over 131,000 total accounts nationwide. And these numbers are respective to the third quarter of 2022, and over $1.13 billion in nationwide ABLE accounts. $1.13 billion have been saved in nationwide ABLE accounts. So these are people with disabilities and their families actively using these accounts and showing that there's tremendous room for growth. Under the current eligibility, there's a potential for 8 million people to sign up for these accounts. And a huge part of the reason that we're doing this work, again, is because there's not been a lot of communication about ABLE. There's not been a lot of awareness raised. And typically, when families are looking for these financial tools, most people just don't. So the key benefits to ABLE accounts are definitely the multiple functions from short-term spending and long-term savings, like we mentioned, the opportunity for financial empowerment and more community inclusion, the alternative to spend down, to not having to spend that $2,000 and stay underneath that threshold. A huge benefit too is ownership of these accounts is for the person with a disability. These accounts are also easy to use, they're easy to open, close, and they link well with regular bank accounts, can operate like a regular bank account, and they have tax-free earnings and state deductions and credits. And please, if I'm going too fast or if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat and Sarah would be happy to answer any questions. The eligibility for ABLE accounts, long-term disability had to be onset before the age of 26. So what that means is you could be 46 and open an ABLE account, but your disability had to have been onset before you were 26 years old, right? And you do need, you're eligible for SSI or SSDI, or a doctor has diagnosed you with a disability, either physical or mental, but the disability must be long-term. Those are the key components to eligibility. I will add that at the close of last year in the omnibus bill, the Able Age Adjustment Act was passed, increasing the onset disability age to 46. That change, however, will not take effect until 2026. So I do know that for this community, a lot of people with spinal cord injuries, typically that age range is between 20 and 35, but there is a future for those of us who had that onset of disability after the age of 26 in the near future. So how do you open your ABLE account? If you visit our website, abletoday.org, and check out the ABLE programs, you'll find all the information that you need on the states that offer different ABLE programs, and you'll be able to compare them. Most programs let you enroll from anywhere, and ABLE programs either allow some type of online enrollment or a bank branch, but it's really easy and flexible, and most people can get this done in about 10 minutes. The individual with the disability can open and manage their own account, or a support person can oversee account management, and that's critical for these accounts. Who can serve as that support person? And I just want to make this crystal clear again, that the ABLE account is for the person and owned by the person with the disability. The support person is just there for just that support and to help administer the account if the person chooses that. So that could be a power of attorney, a parent, a sibling, a friend, a guardian, a grandparent, a spouse, someone that the person with the disability trusts to be able to manage and help them with the support role of their accounts. So going back to our example, Amanda's mom was able to open her account online in about 20 minutes. Amanda is listed as the account owner, but her mom is listed as the support person. And Amanda's mom handles the day-to-day management of the account, including the contributions and withdrawals of the funds for the account. The beauty of ABLE accounts is they have general banking features and how they can get money in. You can either do an electronic deposit or a check, or you can also roll over money from a 529 college savings plan. And most programs allow payroll deductions and e-gifting as well. I see the chat's got 15 messages in it. So how much can you contribute? Annually, a person who is unemployed can contribute $17,000, and contributions can come from any source, including directly from ABLE account enrollee, family, friends, organizations, nonprofits, and employers. If employed, the person with the disability can contribute up to an extra $13,590 more every year. And that doesn't have to come from the income from the employment. It could come from any source. So I just want to be clear about that. But the balance limits on the account over the lifetime is $400,000. And programs also have different balance limits that differ by state. So again, going back to our website, the Able Today programs page will give you a breakdown of which state offers which feature. So Dalton set up a direct deposit feature with his employer to automatically contribute part of his paycheck into his Able account every month. On an annual basis, Dalton can contribute up to that $13,590 more, so $30,000 total. And Dalton also uses the feature and receives a $5,000 annually from family and friends as an e-gift. But again, he has to stay underneath that $30,000 threshold. Before Able account, Dalton's resource limit was $2,000 a month. With an Able account, he has saved, it says $18,590, but it was really $30,000 because Dalton's employed, and Dalton is now on his way to home ownership. The annual cost of these accounts ranges from $0 to $60. The asset-based fees also range from 0% to 0.9%. I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet, but the Able accounts and their functionality can operate as a checking, savings, or investment account, depending on how you use it. And that is one of the flexibilities of the Able program. So most Able accounts offer multiple places to put your money, and you could pick one option or spread your money across multiple options if you choose the investment. Again, that investment option is managed by the state treasurer's office in your state. Some of the things that you can spend your money on, the qualified disability expenses, is really related to any expense related to your disability. So housing and rent, assistive technology, basic living expenses, transportation, health and wellness, education, legal fees, or financial management, right? Anything that specifically relates to the disability and helps maintain or improve the health, independence, and quality of life of the disabled person. How can you withdraw your money from an Able account? Different programs have various options. Some offer checkbooks or third-party checks. Some have debit cards or spin down cards, and some just offer a simple bank transfer. Again, going to our website and seeing which state you're in and seeing which features they have would be critical to understanding how you can withdraw money and move money around or use money to spend on some of these qualified disability expenses that we just mentioned. If you receive Social Security income, balances over $100,000 start counting as a resource. So if you withdraw money to use for housing, you must spend it within the same calendar month. If you receive Medicaid, Medicaid does not have a balance limit, but Medicaid payback still applies to Able, just as it applies to other bank accounts. So check with your state to confirm. I think future conversation that we want to have from a financial literacy perspective is how Able accounts interact with special needs trust. And this is just an introduction to that. But special needs trust can accept larger annual deposits than Able accounts can. And people frequently put large deposits into a trust and then regularly transfer that money to an Able account for easier access to spending and transfer. What is some of the flexibility around Able is it's less expensive and less of a process to open. So they're far less expensive to set up and maintain. Typically, special needs trusts need to be opened by a financial advisor or an attorney. So with Able, you don't need legal help. They expand the purchasing power of a trust. The tax benefits too, to an Able account. Some states offer deductions or credits for contributions. The ownership of the Able account is just for the person with the disability. It is not administered by a board as a special needs trust would be, giving people more independence and additional autonomy to save money and spend their own money and control their financial future. What are the next steps? I would encourage everybody to research ABLE programs via the ABLE Today website. Again, going back to those program features, we also have a new video that we just released. It is a first of its kind ABLE webinar in ASL. So if any of you have friends from the deaf community, please let them know that we have a special video just for them. You can also help us by spreading the word and learning more, or request a presentation one-on-one if you have any specific questions for any of us on the ABLE Today team. So ABLE accounts are a game changer for financial empowerment and community inclusion. Again, to learn more, visit abletoday.org and check out our videos, or the federal benefits page or the ABLE programs page, to learn how ABLE can be a better resource for you. And lastly, I want to thank the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation again, Angel, for setting this up and getting so many people signed up so quickly. I know we just started having these conversations, but being able to offer this either on a monthly or bi-monthly basis to your community is going to only empower more people to take their financial future by the reins. Bonnie, I want to thank you again for participating in this and supporting ABLE Today from Wells Fargo and helping us to better educate the disabled community on the tools that they have. And I also want to thank my team, Sarah and Eric, who have empowered me to do these webinars and help spread the word about ABLE. But the more we have these conversations, the more that we talk about ABLE and spread awareness, I think the more people will be able to take their financial future into their own hands and live a more autonomous, independent life and improve their quality of life. So thank you all for listening to me. And if anybody has any questions, now is a great time.
Thank you so much, Mark. There have been a few questions, but Sarah has been tackling them in the chat. But I'm so glad that we had you present today, and thank you to Bonnie as well. But in particular, the ABLE Age Adjustment Act was something that our policy team worked on, and supported. So we are really thrilled to educate more of our community on these accounts. And we look forward to working with you to get more people on board as we approach the expansion to more people that will. What I think on one of our calls, did you or Eric say that there, how many people, estimate of how many more people will be able to access these accounts?
It's 14 million with
Yes.
the age expansion.
Yes, with the age expansion, 14 million more people. So we've got work to do over the next couple of years to make sure that everyone knows about the things that are out there.
Leaning back on, I think there's only 131,000 accounts currently. So we've got a lot of work to do in spreading awareness about these accounts and doing more financial literacy, I think, as a whole for the disabled community.
Being able to transfer money from places where people use like PayPal and Venmo and those type of apps and accounts. Do you know anything about how to get that money transferred into an ABLE account?
Money's from PayPal or Venmo.
Cash App, things like that.
I believe would have to be transferred to a bank account.
Regular bank, and then
regular bank first, and then to an ABLE account. Sarah has been tackling some speed fingers. Thank you, Sarah.
You are so welcome. This has been such an incredible conversation. Mark, do you want to address the question regarding the audit for us? It's from Patty. So does the account get audited by someone?
The account it's managed by the state treasurer's office. So I don't believe it gets.
The IRS is the government entity that could potentially conduct an audit if an audit happens. In our knowledge, to date that no one who has opened up an ABLE account has been audited. But the only agency that can actually do an audit is the IRS.
I also wanted to just shout out Caitlin. Caitlin put in the chat that she just signed up for her ABLE account. So we are all very excited to hear that.
Caitlin, did you do it while we were doing the presentation? It's that
That
quick.
would be great. But I think she just signed up last week, I believe.
It's just that easy.
Good job, Mark.
Here's a great question from Stuart Smith, Mark. What if you live in a state that isn't one of the 46 states that have an ABLE program?
So that is a great question. So some states do allow out-of-state participants, like Virginia. And Virginia has actually is the state with the most ABLE accounts right now, I think because of that feature. They also offer the spin card. Their fee is relatively low. So the answer is you can sign up for one if you are out of state in some of the ABLE programs. It depends on the state though. So again, going back to our ABLE Today programs page and analyzing which states offer which features, you'll see that that is one of the questions that we answer for each program.
There's a question from Karen. Would you be able to talk more about how expenses are approved as disability related?
Sure, Karen. I believe it's literally any expense related to your disability, right? So living expenses, transportation expenses. Is there something more specific that you are concerned about being an expense that you want to?
I'm happy to jump in on this one. This is a really great question. When we worked hard up until 2014 to get the original ABLE Act across the finish line and with overwhelming support by Congress, we really intended to keep the expenses extremely broad as possible. So you see on that long list of potential expenses that Mark shared, those that are enumerated in the original legislation are quite broad. So any expense that can be directly correlated to improving the quality of life of an individual with a disability, employment readiness, job training, assisted technology. Mark and I were talking about this the other day on a team call. You know, we have a extremely huge crisis facing caregiving in the disability community. So if you wanted to hire your own caregiver to help you at home or help provide transportation to and from your job, anything that can be directly related back to the disability, that is what an ABLE account is intended to use for.
I am.
Great.
I'm here.
Good question. Would you be able to speak to current programs that are available through Wells Fargo that could be linked to ABLE, or just accessibility options for banking?
So Wells Fargo does have very robust accessibility, and information about that is available on our website. So you can go to wellsfargo.com to learn more. In terms of ABLE, one of the things I probably should have mentioned in the beginning, and I failed to, so I'm glad to have the opportunity to do it now, is I want to be clear that we don't offer ABLE accounts. And it speaks to our commitment to this program. There is no self-interest here at all. And the reason we don't offer ABLE accounts is we feel that they are best offered through the states. So what we do is support the state treasurers and their offering of the ABLE accounts, the 46 programs. Now, any of your Wells Fargo accounts, as Mark mentioned, can be linked to, you can transfer money from your Wells Fargo checking account or savings account into an ABLE account.
Angel, there's a great question from Brent regarding, money into an ABLE account, and maybe some of the pre-ABLE outdated things that individuals with disabilities, their family members and caregivers have been told. And Brent, you kind of hit the nail on the head here. This is why the passage of the original ABLE Act and then subsequently our efforts to expand the age of eligibility is so important. We really wanted to create a private sector tool in the form of the ABLE account that allows people with disabilities to save their own money and invest in their future and be more financially secure without putting those benefits in jeopardy. So we've worked really hard to do that, to protect Medicaid eligibility by being able to save these assets. And then, of course, Mark covered some of the nuances with Social Security. We are actually hosting at the end of the month a webinar. NAS, Able Today, and our network are hosting a webinar with the Social Security Administration, specifically on the SSA and ABLE account relationships. And we'll throw that link here in the chat. It'd be just another great opportunity, Angel, for you and your colleagues and your membership to learn more about ABLE and its impacts on Social Security.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And we can send that link around to, you said you're going to put in the chat, and we can also send a follow-up as well to people. So thank you so much for sharing.
So Patty also asked the question, the fee that is associated with the account, who does that go to and what is it used for? It goes to the state treasurers, and it's used for the administration of the account to set it up.
Can you change the type of account more than once? Like if you want to change it from investment to savings, could you do that?
Yes.
All right. Well, unless there's any more questions, we definitely, if everyone who registers should have my contact info, you can email it to me and I can forward it on to the team at ABLE. But thank you so much to our panelists today. And before we close, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you haven't already and you're interested, we would love for you to sign up to become an online advocate with the Reeve Foundation. My colleague Gerard will be pasting the link to sign up in the chat. So before logging off, check the chat box, and you can click on that link to become an advocate today. There's also links to some of the things that we talked about here on the webinar today. So if you're already an advocate, thank you. But if you are not, please share that link with friends and family.
Yeah, one question that didn't get answered.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Patty, would home improvements be an approved expense such as widening doors or replacing doors that have been damaged by the person with the disability? Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely a qualified disability expense.
Okay. Well, again, thank you to Bonnie and Mark, and just stay tuned for upcoming educational events on this topic.
Wait,
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angel.